Netflix announced that it has begun using generative AI in its shows and films. It says Netflix announced it has begun incorporating generative AI into its film and television productions, with its first example appearing in the Argentine series El Eternuata, where AI was used to create a building collapse in one scene. According to the company, the use of AI enabled the scene to be completed 10 times faster and at a lower cost compared to traditional visual effects. Netflix co-CEO Greg Peters also stated that generative AI is being used in other areas, such as personalization, search, and advertising, with plans to introduce interactive ads later this year. In the second quarter of 2025, Netflix reported $11.08 billion in revenue, up 16% from the previous year, and a profit of 3.13 billion, with users streaming more than 95 billion hours of content in the first half of the year. Your thoughts?
Listen, I'm never against AI. You know me. I always say AI is. I think AI is fine if you're using it for good, not evil. I learned about Netflix using AI
Tell me more.
during the writer's strike. It was really important to the creatives that AI not take over their jobs. Also, couldn't help but notice that you said advertising, and that's the land I play in. So, a little nervous. I mean, I don't work in Netflix. So,
Right.
but I think that when these big companies, these very notable companies, the ones we know, the ones we recognize just like that, the ones we don't really even need to see the logo but hear a sound and we know exactly what it is, it always worries me when they start doing things like this, because that means everybody else is going to jump on the bandwagon at some point. They're
Totally
setting a
agree.
trend, they're blazing a trail, if you will, and that can be concerning. They're very clearly stating that they're using AI to cut costs. And I do understand that we are in quite an economy right now, to put it nicely. And I do understand that a lot is changing just in the environment that we're in right now. The political climate, the economy, all of it is creating a lot of challenges for a lot of people. So this scares me because on one hand, I understand the need to cut costs, but on the other hand, I'm also like, well, if this is now replacing jobs, then I'm a little worried, And a lot of companies have said, and a lot of experts have said, oh, AI is going to make things easier. It's not necessarily going to replace people's jobs. And I just don't think that that's true in the
Me
long
either.
run. So seeing something like this so soon when there's all this talk about AI, but how today's AI is not going to be the same as 5 and 10 years from now. I feel like it's moving at a much more rapid pace than maybe we are expecting it to. So this makes me nervous. I don't know. I'm indifferent in the sense that I probably need to know more. But those are my initial thoughts. Like that it just kind of worries me, and I don't know if what I do in particular would be, you know, replaced. But I do think that there are so many jobs that when you think about the technology that people are using these days, yeah, absolutely. And again, can't say enough. The creatives were worried about this and they were trying to create stipulations around this because they don't make a hell of a lot of money in the first place. So I don't know. What do you think?
I think they were already doing some of this stuff and didn't announce it. I believe that search and personalization has been using AI for a while. I think they just found a
That's a
way
good
to
point.
say, hey, we've been doing we're gonna do all of this now. I think they've already been doing this in doses. I don't think there's a person sitting there saying like, well, because you watch Star Wars, maybe you like Star Trek. Hey, We see you like Star Wars. Did you know there's a
Oh,
new Star Wars show? I don't think so. I don't think that's been a person sitting on a computer like, well, let's see, what can we recommend? I think it's been AI. And so, yeah, maybe the ads are going to be new. I don't have Netflix. I don't know if they've been using interactive ads, but YouTube been doing that for a little while now. And so there's some
YouTube
other
has
streaming
doubled the
apps that do
ads.
this. Say it again.
And I said, and YouTube has doubled the ads, but people don't realize that.
And the length of the ads. It ain't no more skip 5 seconds for every ad. Some of them it's like you can press next in 45 seconds. You're like, damn, nigga, I can't even skip. No, you can press next in
Hmm.
45 seconds. So I
Yeah.
think some of these things have been happening for a while. I think this is just their way of saying uh across the board we're doing this now. I think we'll see more of this. I think AI will continue to be used where it can be.
Yeah.
And yes, AI will replace lots of jobs, even jobs we don't think of, even
Hmm.
jobs we may think today are safe, may
Right.
not be as safe as we think. And it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that a job will be erased, right? Maybe before you needed one person to do the job for 10 hours. And now with AI, that one person is doing the job in 5 hours. It still means that there's a person there, but it just was able to cut things down and make things happen quicker.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, no, jobs will be gone, but there's other jobs that is going to improve, and we as humans have to adapt. We have to figure out, okay,
Of
well,
course.
my job is not going to exist anymore. What can I
Right.
do? And I think this is not a YouTube topic, but I think that's where we have to kind of tip our hat to YouTube, who is reinforcing, or rather enforcing, a rule they already had about AI and AI created videos, which we didn't talk about last week when it was announced. But I think this is one of the things that can be done, right? Where companies can say, "Hey, there's certain AI stuff we're not going to allow in this company." And so
Yeah.
I think we got to kind of tip our hats at YouTube, who are enforcing that rule that they already had a while ago, and they're seeing an influx of AI created content and
Hmm.
saying, well, we're going to put a hold on some of that stuff.
Yeah. And I do appreciate the transparency at this point. I think that I think for a long time, and this is why we got into the conversation we did recently about what's AI and what's not. This is probably a good time for me to correct what I said. I said that GPS is AI. Technically, no. Technically, yes. Your GPS itself is not the AI, but it does use AI functions. Like there is a voice that tells you where to go and what to do and whatever. But it just there's positive, like I said, there's positive things about it, and there's other things that, it makes you worry. But you make a good point that we have to adapt. And we will. We always do. I mean, we adapted to the internet.
Right.
We adapted a little too well to the internet, if you ask me. I mean, we didn't even know what to do with. So we were. It was It really was the wild wild west when social media got introduced, and now look at us being civilized on social media now.
Some of us.